Tell me about Aunt Afra." Tobias perched himself on my bed, crunching his way through an apple. It has become his habit to keep me company in the afternoon since I've been forced into bed rest. I shifted my feet sideways to give him more room and motioned for the extra pillow for my back. I could hear Afra's voice in my head laughing. "Well, go on, tell him. He's not a child any longer." I sent her away. "What do you want to know?" "What she was really like. Mother's rather vague on the subject, and it's not everyone who's got a famous literary relative entombed in Westminster Abbey." "Well, for a start, she was your mother's godmother, not a relative, no more than I am, and your mother was only young when Afra died." That was no lie, but the real reason for Anne's reluctance, I suspect, lies in the fashionable notion that everything to come out of Charles II's reign, including Afra and her plays and poetry, is now considered far too licentious for today's taste. Society has since made sure that women know their place, and are still not expected to enjoy life in the same way as men. But we were a little trio, your grandmother, Alice, Afra, and I, closer than some sisters I know. We were different in temperament and personalities, certainly, but firm friends until death separated us. Describe her to me." I had a vision of her as she was in her prime, and not as I'd last seen her. It made me smile. Someone else who knew her well once said she was pretty, witty, and clever, and she was certainly all those things, as well as irreverent, which, of course, made her extremely good company. Men loved her, and she loved them. She lived her life the way she wanted to, without worrying too much about what people thought or said, and you, Tobias, from what I've heard recently, would have got on very well with her." "Ha!" Tobias threw the apple core out of the window and wiped his mouth on the cuff of his jacket. "I take it my darling mother has been complaining again about the company I keep." I didn't answer. "Anyway, if you really want to know about Afra, there's an anthology of her work in that drawer over there, and if you can find time to read it between estate business and meeting friends, then it'll give you a good idea of what she was like, for she wrote as she lived. Just be careful with it. It's one of my treasured possessions." He slid off the bed, made his way to my desk, and took out the leather-bound book. Opening it up, he read the inscription and turned back to give me a knowing smile, so reminiscent of his grandmother that my heart gave a little lurch. Alice would have been so proud of the man her young grandson has become.